The five most common mistakes on a resume that most people make. Number one, they use Times New Roman, Arial, or Calibri as a font. Why? Those are the default fonts on Microsoft Word. Those are the ones that everybody uses. Number two, you use the black circles or dots, your squares or hyphens as your bullet points. Why? They're default. And that's what we've been taught since careers in high school, and most government agencies kind of default to because they haven't bothered to update the information. Number three, they have a section called skills or career kind of information where they go, I have 5 years of experience or 10 years of experience. I'm hardworking, dedicated, committed team player with excellent communication skills. In 20 years of recruiting, I've met very few people that say, listen, I'm lazy, I'll show up late, none of my work will be any good, and I really hate people. Please hire me. Not unless you're related to them or having an affair with them, that you can kind of get away with that. Okay. And so it's redundant to fill because your definition of hardworking, Ben, and my definition of hardworking are very different based on how you were brought up and your culture and background. And so it is from company to company. The fourth mistake is that people have chronological or functional resumes. And if you've switched careers or you've changed directions or you lost your corporate gig and now are working part-time at Tim Hortons, for example, what happens is most employers spend 8 to 30 seconds reading your resume, which means they look at the top third to the top half of your first page. If the first thing they see on your resume is Tim Hortons and you were an engineer, they dismiss you as an engineer because you're at Tim Hortons right now, which means you're not, like, even though you might have made it through the applicant screening, they're dismissing you because all they see is Tim Hortons or all they scan is Tim Hortons. Okay. And the biggest and worst mistake of all is that people write, I know how to do this, or I have experience with that. So I'm going to give you two examples to demonstrate how bad this is. So if you need to hire a receptionist and someone comes to you and says, I know how to answer the phone, I hope you look at that person in shock and go, really? A receptionist that knows how to answer the phone? I did not know that. Because unless they live in an igloo, a cave, or practice the faith of Mennonite, most people, at least in North America, know how to press the green button and go, hello, how can I help you? You know, phones or some sort of device to speak exist. Now, if a receptionist says to you, I know how to answer 60 calls a day with 12 different lines, I can measure 60 calls a day with 12 different lines. I cannot measure, I know how to answer the phone. Now, similarly, if I use an example from my career, I can say to you, Ben, I'm an excellent salesperson. I know how to do B2B, B2C, account management, relationship building, lead generation. I've done retail, I've done door-to-door sales, I've done car sales. I've worked in private education, I've worked in recruitment. I know how to do sales. I've given you a lot of jargon, which most people fill their resume sometimes with, not correctly though, in many cases. But I haven't really told you whether or not I actually produce sales. I just said I had a lot of sales jobs. That doesn't mean anything. Now, if I give you a real example, I worked for a private college that before I came in generated $530,000 in sales for the entire year. In 1 month, I generated $860,000 in revenue for them in 1 month. Anyone that's interviewing me for sales should go, wow, that's impressive. How did you do it? And as long as I can explain how I did it, I've just proven how good of a salesperson I am. The lingo is great for the applicant tracking system, but not when a human being interviews you. And the biggest problem that most people that are job seekers that feel stuck and are sending out 100 resumes is that they have a black and white cookie cutter resume with generic statements, and they focus on, we'll call it the action words like manage, direct, liaise, coordinated, rather than the technical words and the results that they produced, which is the biggest error. So if you've ever seen the movie Legally Blonde, when Elle Woods or Reese Witherspoon applies to Harvard University and to the internship, she gives a pink scented resume. And everyone looks at it and goes, it's pink and it's scented, but they remember it. Now, I'm not saying you need a pink scented resume, but if you take color on your headings, you change the font or the bullet, like Go to Microsoft Bullet, go to Microsoft Bullet and pick the diamonds, pick the check mark, pick something slightly different. It breaks the monotony of the eyes. If HR gets this many resumes and they're flipping through it like this, literally like a deck of cards, adding a tiny bit of color to your heading, adding a different bullet, adding a different font will break the eyes from the normal routine that they see. So you're more likely to be called because you caught their attention in 8 to 30 seconds. Most people don't understand this. So, my background, I have my logos in beside me. You'll notice that it's purple. If you look me up on social media, my color is purple. Purple is everywhere. Why? Because it's consistent branding. When I go networking, if I'm in an event, like I was just in an event where there was 30,000 people, I showed up with a purple shirt, purple bag. So when I followed the email, I said, I'm the guy in purple. I had the purple shirt, the purple bag. And then this is the conversation we had. They will remember the purple more than they will remember my name, especially with 30,000 people, right? But it's a way of branding yourself to be different, right? So even for you, your background, you kind of have the hands holding the world. And even if people don't remember the name, they'll remember the image. There's an association to the image, and therefore they'll look for that image in whatever platforms they can to find the podcast, for example. It's no difference in the job market. And so, yes, people that are saying, oh, there's no jobs, or no, there's jobs. There's plenty of jobs. You're not looking in the right places. You're wasting your time on Indeed.